Hi, I'm Olivia.
And I'm Jack.
And a year ago we bought this 400-year-old crumbling home that we were warned by the agents needed £200,000 worth of work doing to it to fix it up.
Money we just didn't have.
We fell in love with it before we even viewed it.
Yeah, when we initially walked round, we knew there was going to be some light renovation, maybe worst case scenario, a little re-roof. Work that I didn't necessarily consider to be too dramatic and too major.
But when we started pulling walls down, lifting floors, taking the ceilings down, it soon dawned on us how much there really was to do here.
Yeah, it just seemed like with every old property, you open a tin of worms.
So what we thought would be, ripping out some floors and replacing them and just maybe replastering or something, we then found ourselves digging out how many tons of mud?
Approximately 40 to 50 tonnes of clay, concrete,
out of the living
limecrete,
yeah,
out of the living room.
And when we took the ceilings down, we found original beams, which was an amazing thing to find.
Yeah.
We didn't even consider that they might be there. So when we found them, we were so ecstatic. But with that came the fact that the king beam was actually not supported. So at the moment we've got a prop up in the living room, and a lot of the beams then connecting onto the other king beam aren't actually connected. So it's quite frightening to think we were living in it for, 6 months?
Yep.
Not knowing that potentially the ceiling could collapse. So we'll take you inside and show you where we're up to at the moment, and I'll do a little recap of what we've done since Christmas. We actually started on Boxing Day. Yeah, we had our whole family here for Christmas, our first Christmas here, and on Boxing Day morning I cooked a breakfast, and then I said, right guys, we want to crack on because we've got the holidays to do this work. We are doing this work around our day jobs. Yep. So we were like, come on, help us move furniture out. So Boxing Day, day after Christmas, if you're not from Britain, because some people don't know what Boxing Day is, the day after Christmas, we cleared out the living room, but it wasn't a case of just removing the furniture, was it?
No, no.
I think I popped out for, I don't know, I think I went to do the ponies, I came back and Jack and my brother had already started ripping the walls off.
Yeah.
So it kind of escalated pretty quickly. So I'll show you a recap of what happened from there to about now really, so you can see the amount of work we've put in. And to start with, we were handballing the mud out by hand, which was sticky, heavy, wet clay, back-breaking work. And then you got the digger in the house, which he said to me, should we get the digger in the house? I thought he was joking. And then he was like, right, let's get the cab off the digger, because obviously it wouldn't fit in the doors with it on. And yeah, that also escalated pretty quickly. Next thing I know, we've got a dump truck in our living room. So yeah, I'll show you some footage. Let me know if you think we're completely bonkers for doing this. But yeah, it's been eye-opening.
It has. Yeah, we've learnt an awful lot.
We have learnt a lot.
From last year, an awful lot. It's a 400-year-old home, so it's not likely to fall down in the next few months, right?
That's what we keep saying to ourselves, and that's what we said from the beginning. We were warned off by friends, family, and surveyors, structural people. They were all just like, walk away from it, just find something else.
Needs too much.
But when you see more of it, you will realise how much we fell in love. And it's not just the house, it's the setting. We've got we're just under an acre gardens here, and they're all quite mature, which is great because I'm rubbish at gardening. All just kind of came together, and it was a lot further out than we wanted to look for a house.
Yeah.
And
because we still have day jobs, both of us.
So how many miles is your commute?
My commute is 48 miles to the office.
So 100 miles a day roughly you're doing.
Yeah.
And I do about 70. So it's not easy, but anything worth having
is hard work.
And is never easy. So we just plough on, and every weekend we're here doing work and all ourselves. We've had two people in that we've paid for work. One was sandblasters, because that's a specialist thing. We obviously couldn't do that. And the second was laying the limecrete floor. So I'll take you in now. I've been saying I'm going to take you in, so let's go in and show you guys what we are facing and what we're up to at the moment.
You're forgetting one. We had help in for the roof.
Oh yes, we did have helping for the roof because I am so scared of heights. Jack made me go up there once and I literally thought I was going to be sick. It felt so high, and we made the scaffolding ourselves, as you can see in the background. It's probably not how a scaffolder would put things up, but it's still standing a year later, so I'd say so I'd say it's okay really. And yeah, it was scary up there, so we had a friend in to help you with like taking the tiles down and stuff and everything else, but very much a joint effort anyway, wasn't it?
So set to task and sourced some scaffolding on eBay. I then travelled about 150 miles with the van and trailer.
And then was there like a football match or something? The road was like
There was
it took you hours and hours to
there
get
was a
back.
big traffic jam.
And we'd only been here a week, so I was just like on my own here, thinking, where the hell is he? And then you roll up with the scaffolding, and we unloaded it, and then literally that week we put the scaffolding up and straight away started doing the roof. So
we did.
That was a really big first testing job, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. It was a great milestone to achieve.
Yeah, and it gave us a real confidence boost that if we could do that with all the, you know, things that was, it's all stuff that we'd never done before, then we could take on anything. And that has been our sort of our what's the word?
What were you trying to say?
You know, it's been our thing that what we stick by. I don't know. Anyway, we just felt if we could do that, then we can do anything. And we have faced some things that we've had no idea what to do. And Jack has been researching. You've been on YouTube watching tutorials, and we've just gone and done it. We've literally gone and done everything. Anyway, enough chatting. Let's show you inside. So, welcome to our living room.
Building site.
So it didn't look like this when we moved in, of course. I'll show you some pictures of what it did look like. But we had to rip everything out because the walls were suspect, and we've had some problems with damp along this side because the ground on the other side is higher, so we've got to dig that out. But this is where we're up to at the moment. So we've just had this floor laid a few weeks ago, which is limecrete, which is a more traditional material than using concrete. It's more breathable, flexible for old houses. And we've literally worked ground up to get to this stage. We've dug everything out, and then we've put geocell foam glass membrane down, which is, again, a breathable type of membrane for old houses. And then on top of that, we've put the underfloor heating, and then here we are now. So another big thing, so we found all these beams. If you have a look up here, this was just a plain white ceiling. So if you look here, these aren't connected. And this was bowed like a banana. So at the moment, we've got this keeping our ceiling up. So we had a structural engineer come in to advise us because, again, we're not experts. We've got a good idea what we're doing. We're learning along the way, but we wanted a professional in just to give us an idea of what we should do. And for this, he suggested we put an upright in. At the moment, this acro prop is doing that job, but we have got a wooden beam that will go in here. So this beam now looks quite straight. And then here, it was another big wow. This was completely hidden behind the walls. There was a little ugly fireplace here with two shelving units either side, which were sort of that deep, and with lighting in it and the glass. It's sort of like maybe a 50s sort of upgrade, you know what the 50s were like. And when we started ripping away, we thought, that's strange. And we saw like evidence of like a bit of a beam there and a bit of a beam there. And then we started digging further and further, and we realised there was an Inglenook fireplace hidden here all this time. So we ripped it all out, dug away, and have revealed this. And we put this massive beam in ourselves, which weighed an absolute ton. But that was, again, another thing. We did it ourselves. We had no machine in to help us. And just brute force, we got that beam in.
Brute force and determination.
So this was the other like hidden space. If we'd have thought about it properly, we probably would have thought, because most places have a cupboard under the stairs, don't they?
Yeah.
But I guess new house, we didn't really think about it. And this door opened that way, which there wasn't obvious that there was a understairs. I mean, it is obvious, but it isn't, if you know what I mean. So this huge void has now made a home for the underfloor heating manifold. So that's all in there. So that can be hidden. And then I'm going to put some bookshelves up there. So yeah, very exciting. So a fireplace will go in there. This is all underfloor heated, so this will be lovely and warm. Not sure what we're going to do with this yet. And all of these walls we've got to sort out. We need to be back in here for Christmas. We've got family coming from abroad to stay with us. So what we got, 5 months now?
Yeah.
5 months to get this all sorted. Do you think we can do it?
We have to do it.
We have to do it. So keep watching as we transform this into a really lovely country, cosy, moody, antique-y sort of living room, if that gives you an idea of my style. So in here was my study and will be again, and that goes through to the kitchen. So at the moment we are living in the other half of the house, so we have this plastic sticky stuff up on doors and in various places around the house, and on the other side you can just see the amount of dust that's stuck to it. I hoover pretty much every day to keep the dust down. We found that this was rotten. This wall is rotten, but the oven is on the other side of this wall, so that's going to be a massive upheaval to sort that out. We found that the waste pipe was leaking under the ground, so when we dug this floor up, there literally was a pool of waste water in here, which absolutely disgusting. We've had to redo all the drainage work as well, so that was again a massive job. We had to tear up half the garden in the wettest, muddiest month. It wasn't supposed to be wet and muddy weather, but the weather this year has been crazy, so we had to do that. And then in here was a shower room. The door was here originally. You walked in and then there was a enclosed shower cubicle that you walked in here. And unfortunately there was a massive crack inside it, but the previous owners had still been using it, which had then gone through, the water had gone through and rotted out all of the walls, all the original walls, So we had to completely rebuild this, stud it out and start again essentially. Whilst we were at it, we decided to vault the ceiling. So this just had a normal flat roof, but now it's got this huge space. We're going to be putting a Velux window in here so it'll be even brighter. So this is ready to start lining out and making into a proper room again. So along with the discoveries inside, we've also made some really, really crazy cool discoveries outside, haven't we, darling?
Yes, we have.
I found a, God, hundreds of years old
Water well.
water well, which we had no idea was here. This was all grass when we moved in. So it was, tell them what you felt when you first found it.
Amazement, shock,
Fear.
fear.
A lot of fear. We've got 2 young children and 2 dogs, and it was very surreal. Our bedroom is just up there, so we slept with the light on, didn't we, after we found it? Because I don't know if when you were younger we watched the Blair Witch Project? No, the Ring. Yeah, that just the thought of somebody crawling up out of the well.
No.
And a lot of people as well have said, oh, it looks like the house out of The Conjuring, and and is it haunted? We don't get any bad feelings
No,
here at all. We never
have.
have done, and for as old as it is, there's been nothing, has there? It's just nothing but lovely feelings. So when we found this, it was a shock, and it was found just by chance, wasn't it? Do you want to explain what happened?
It was. We had a structural engineer come to site to talk about trees and proximity to house and whatever else, and we didn't want to chop the tree down, but we also needed to protect the house. So
from the roots.
one of the things that the structural engineer talked to us about was introducing a concrete foundation or footing, almost like a barrier for roots. We dug the trench, filled it with concrete, with the heap of dirt that we were left with, which was
Around
here.
there, yeah, wasn't it?
We needed to eventually clear that up and remove it from here. And one of the things that I did with the digger was accidentally dig too deep when we were clearing this mud heap up. The bucket scraped along what sounded like a concrete lid. So curiosity got the better of me, and I started digging away, digging up this beautiful bit of the garden.
So you kept digging, didn't you, until we found...
I did.
I mean, this has moved, just to explain quickly.
Yeah.
This pad here, this bit of concrete was obviously on top of here. So you were digging, weren't you? And then...
Yeah, and eventually we came across these bricks. So this concrete's been poured to form a lid, and then bricks have been put in to resemble...
But there was a well there to sort of...
Yeah. I mean, this is a lot smaller. The diameter of this is a lot smaller than what's actually there. The diameter of the well that we've uncovered is about 5 foot wide, 5 foot diameter. And your dad was over staying with us, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he was intrigued by what we potentially found and started drilling down
making a
see.
hole, wasn't it? So you can still see this metal was underneath it as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so that's the shuttering. They've used that to pour the concrete on.
Yeah. So when we first opened it, that was as much as you'd open that little bit there.
That was, yeah.
And then we put a torch in the hole. So
we'll show you.
Should we show them quickly?
We'll show them.
Okay, we're going to show you quickly. We do keep this like heavily covered up because of the children and the animals. So we haven't actually looked down here for about a month or so. So
yeah.
we'll open it up and give you a little peek.
It is safe. It doesn't necessarily look safe, but it
is really, really heavy, this stuff.
I don't like this
Children
part,
would never
honest.
be able to move it. Here we go. Okay, I'm just going to extend the tripod on my handle so that I don't have to get too close, because it does freak me out a lot. Okay. Always worry about dropping my phone in.
So the depth of this well is 72 foot to the bed.
72 foot, and when we last checked, it was about 10 foot of water, but it was higher when we looked down briefly in the winter.
When we first checked, it was 10 foot of water, so it's 62 foot.
But just look at the
clear drop.
craftsmanship of those bricks, isn't it? It is astonishing, absolutely incredible, but equally petrifying. Go on, cover it back up. I can't have it open. It really does give me the EBGBs. So we went to a reclaim yard and got these bricks, which we will then build it up into a nice feature wishing well. So that's another thing on our very, very long list, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
So how did we actually get this house? So I mentioned briefly that we found it on Rightmove and we came to view it. It was over our budget, but there were over 60 viewings and no offers. It kind of says something, doesn't it, a bit?
No, I think people ran for the
Ran
hills.
for the hills. I think when we came to view it, we passed someone else that had just viewed it and they literally looked horrified.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like anything, isn't it? What the Rightmove photos, they looked...
Oh, yeah, photos and editing and stuff can make a place look amazing.
Looked incredible.
And it did, and it did when we walked round. But
yeah.
the photos hide an awful lot of
the bigger picture.
Blemishes? Should we call it
More than blemishes, they were like a broken leg on a person.
Maybe a bit.
That was bleeding heavily.
That's a bit strong, but...
But yeah, even you, when you were walking round, he was going silent, and I was like, okay, this is worrying if Jack is silenced with work. But we just loved it, didn't we? So anyway, as I say, it was over our budget. We went back home and we hadn't actually put our house on the market yet. We knew we wanted to move, but...
Well, it was on the drive home that we actually phoned the estate agent up and tried to put an offer in.
Yeah, but
Did they accept that then?
No, the agents didn't actually put the offer forward because we didn't have a house on the market. So we literally rushed to do that week. Got it on the market, had viewings straight away because that was a grade 2 listed cottage that we'd renovated fully. So it looked beautiful. All of our friends and family thought we were absolutely mad leaving once we'd finally done it up. But we got that sorted, didn't we, pretty quickly.
We learnt an awful lot from that one
there.
as well. I mean, being grade 2 listed, there's an awful lot of compliance that we've got to make sure that we're adhering to, and it's all about making sure that we're doing the best by the property. That
was in the middle of a town, so we left town for the country, and
best thing we ever did.
Yeah. But our offer was declined, and we were heartbroken, weren't we? And we went back, and I just kept scowling through Rightmove, and this house just kept popping up. It just kept popping up. So I thought, do you know what? I'm going to write a letter to the owners. So that is exactly what we did. We wrote a lovely letter explaining how much we really, really loved the house, because we did. We adored it, even with all of its, problems. We just fell in love, and we could just see our family here and our life here, really. So we wrote a letter, and what was it? It must have been within a week, really. We got an email from the owners saying, let us know what your best offer is. And we came to an agreement, and the rest is history.
We were lucky. I mean, that is how we've bought the last two properties.
That's how we bought the house before. So if you ever got this real desire for something, then give everything a go. And people maybe think it's a bit cringy writing a letter to somebody, but if you don't ask, you don't get.
No,
and
you don't.
That's how we found ourselves here.
We knew that we were going to have to do a lot of the work ourselves. That was the whole idea here. We simply could not afford to have tradespeople in to do the work for us.
I mean,
we would never do it.
They were saying 200 grand, but realistically, with the price of materials now, it would have been more than that. I mean, even the roof alone, the work that we did, we went the extra mile, re-strengthening it and everything. Yeah. That alone would have been probably, we were quoted 20 just for basic stuff. So for what we went to,
it'd have been 20 to 30,000 all said and done. So the difference between doing it ourselves, I mean, we've probably done it for a third of that. Yeah. Approximately, and we've got the scaffolding as well.
Right, I think that's enough of an intro. Hopefully you've enjoyed our bit of an explanation and will enjoy watching us working our backsides off.
Come along for the journey.
Yeah, please do, and thank you very much.
Thanks for watching
being
this
here
video.
And for watching.
Please like and subscribe.
I was going to jump up on you, but I think I'll probably take you back out.